So hello, I thought I would go through the basics of the origami multifold, but before I do that I would like to illustrate the importance of getting your first folds just absolutely bang on. So here goes. Now, right, here's a sheet of red paper and I've pre-creased it just to save time, but what I'm doing is folding it in half from edge to edge and then from corner to corner. Your edges must meet absolutely perfectly. The folds must be bang on. If they're not precise, then the rest of the model isn't going to work. So, for example, if I put this into a sort of a preliminary fold, you'll see that it's all nice and symmetrical. The edges are meeting pretty well, and I can fold it back in itself like that. That just establishes that it is symmetrical. So we'll give that one a tick, shall we? This blue piece of paper, I've not been quite so precise. You can see there's some white showing there. And when I try to put it into that preliminary fold, there's a fair amount of white paper showing through from underneath, and the edges are not meeting cleanly. There you see, there's a lot of white showing when I try to bring them together. So the point is that as you carry on folding, your first fold was out. The next one is also going to be out. The one after that is going to be out. So your first error is going to perpetuate itself. So we'll give that one a cross. Just to illustrate the point, I've gone ahead with the blue sheet and I've made a lucky crane. There we are. However, the inside of the wing doesn't meet properly, and it was never going to, because those first folds were out. By the time I reached the tail, it was so asymmetrical that, try as I may, I couldn't get it properly folded in half to make the tail, and the head, as you can see, has an extra white fringe there which it ought not to have. If I'd been more careful with my first folds, the wing, inside of the wing, the edges of the paper there would have met perfectly. The tail comes to a nice point, it's symmetrical, and likewise the beak comes to a fairly nice point. So that's the importance of getting the first folds absolutely right. So with that in mind, here's a sheet of green paper, well, green on one side, white on the other. To save myself some time, I've pre-creased it. So I'm going to fold all four corners into the middle, and because I've carefully pre-creased it, I can see exactly where the middle is. maybe not so clear in the camera, but you can see the crease there. And I'm folding up to meet the middle. And just taking my time to get it right. I should maybe have put some music in the background. I'll bear that in mind for the future. What would be a nice soundtrack for paper folding? I don't know. So, 4 corners into the middle. Then I'm going to turn it over, so the folded side's down, and I'm going to fold the 4 corners into the middle again. And once you're sure of your folds, you need to press them down. Now, I'm going to push this down in the middle and bring these corners up, the middle down, and I've got that. Reminds me of a dart's flight slightly, but if I peel out these petal-like folds, we've got something that you may well recognise. How about that? Used to call these fortune tellers, or it's a dragon, or indeed a cat. Meow. Yeah. In the multi-fold instructions, it's referred to as a salt cellar, although I would hesitate to serve up salt in one of these. Anyhow, that's the first part of the multifold. So, go back to that stage, and I'm going to fold the 4 corners into the middle again. And then unfold it, 1 fold and 2 folds. So basically we are back to having the initial 4 corners folded into the middle, but we've now got all of these lovely little pre-folds delineating a square in the middle. So I'm going to pinch in the corners like that and fold them into that shape, which if I flip it like that is a windmill, and if I flip it like that it's a vase, or so the instructions say, or fold it the way I had it originally and then open these slightly and you have the double boat, the catamaran, what have you. So a few models from there. what I'm going to do now is reach in and get the original corner of the paper and gently pull it out. There. And there. Okay. So now we've got what was the hull of the boat kind of turned inside out. So again, we've got a nicely defined square here. So I'm going to fold the corners in. Just 3 corners this time because one of them is tucked into the double hull. So 1, 2, 3. These 2 white flaps I'm just going to fold down like that. So 1 like that, the other one the same. And now if I open this out, we've got, what's that now? A useful little box, I don't know, but the instructions call it the kitchen sink. But I don't know. A useful box for putting things in. There you go. Now, I'm going to fold down the draining boards of the kitchen sink, as it were. And this face is a little bit tricky, but this face I'm going to fold in half. Now, what happens there is that it folds in half up to a point, but then this bit here becomes a triangle. So just pick that triangle up. Same on the other side. Now, that was the bottom of the box. The bottom of the inside, that's the bottom of the outside. So I'm going to fold this over onto that side, which was the outside. Am I making sense? And then I'm going to fold this in half. Now, gently, I'm going to pull that out. Gently. If I don't do this gently, it's going to tear. And it just clicks into place like that. And you have, it's the wrong colour for an RNLI lifeboat, but it's a lifeboat. But if we pull these out and up to make sails, we've got ourselves a Chinese junk. And that's the culmination of the Multiform fold. So, there it is. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.